Hey guys, it's Daryl. Happy Tuesday. It's 3:30 a.m. I rushed to make this video. My hair's still wet. I just got out of the shower and I didn't want to lose my train of thought this morning. And I rushed over to make this video. All right, this concerns uh, my difference with Trump supporters, um, and just a background on why um, I tend to see Trump supporters as looking at their rights, their income in comparison to others, in comparison to the rest of the world, and how America is viewed in the rest of the world. Um, their income against other Americans, what they think they deserve. For me personally, uh, I've never been really concerned with other people. Even with sports, I wasn't a good team player. I like to ski, I like to surf, I like to compete against myself to be better. I don't concern myself with other people's rights, and one thing you'll never hear me say is, something isn't fair or life isn't fair. I despise that. I really despise that phrase. And I'll tell you why. I'll give you a little background. Like I said, I rushed to make this video. It's all in my head and I'm trying to get it out there. All right. I lost my father when I was 9 of brain cancer. He died within 6 months. Malignant terminal brain cancer. I heard doctors whispering about my father being a vegetable. I despise that word. Um, I learned the word malignant and all that at a very early age. Shortly after that, within the next 5 years, I lost both grandfathers and my grandmother to cancer. More than that, when I was 18 and graduated, I was skiing with one of my best friends and he hit a tree and broke his neck and died. And then 6 months later, when my other best friend, one of his pallbearers, got killed on a motorcycle, got ran over by a car. And out of my whole graduating class, my two best friends died that summer. Um, that's when things changed for me. I realized that life is short, and we could die. I could die in 5 minutes. I could die 30 seconds from now. And that's truly how I still look at life. Back then, it affected me badly. I decided to take chances, and that's when I really got into drugs. It's like, I was like, screw it. You know what? And I started tempting fate. I had a 73 Formula Firebird, extremely fast car, 400 4-barrel, incredibly fast car. And I would drop my girlfriend off every night and then go down to this long downward stretch of highway. And I would get that car every night. I'd light a joint at the top of the hill and I would get that car up to 125, 130 miles an hour every night going down that hill. And I would tempt fate. That was it. I was like, if take me now, and when I got to the bottom, I felt like I won and I'd go home. One night, my my brake pads were thinned out and the calipers froze, and I went into a tailspin at over 100 miles an hour. And kind of woke me up a little bit, but not all the way. I continued to take chances. I wasn't mad at God at all. I was mad. It wasn't mad. I was tempting. It was a game to me. Like you took my friends, and it was more of a game of how much I could get away with without dying yet. It might have been a little suicidal. I don't know. All right, and thing is, I didn't die. I ended up being 40 years old with a terrible, terrible addiction, a terrible life, and it kind of sucked. And I guess that's how God works. So I changed, and I've got 13 years clean now. The thing that I still carry with me is, life isn't fair, and nobody ever said it was gonna be. Um, Nothing is fair. I consider life every day. I consider more that we're all people, the whole country, the whole world. We're all people. We're all in this together. We're all gonna die. We were all born. We're all going through this together. We're all gonna die. And then I hear like Trump talk about shithole countries. I was just thinking about this when as I was getting out of the shower and brushing my teeth. Um, I don't look at that as something. I see it differently. I see people that need help. Why some people live in those, I don't know if a lot of people say, well, why the hell do they live in a desert? Why do they live where there's no food? Why, people are born where they're born. That's not a choice that people make. And so, and as we all know, where you're born, um, it's hard to, especially if you don't have the means, you can't change. It's almost impossible to change that if you don't have the means either. Um, I don't, he talks about the shithole countries, and I see people that need help, need a hand, that could use help. To me, I think that's the solution. I don't see it as a place that we're better than, and they should be kept aside and kept out of here. And as far as good and evil people, I think they're spread out across the world. I think there's just as many good people in these shithole countries as in America. And sometimes I think there might be more in those other countries, because sometimes I think we're a little spoiled here, and a little self-righteous, and a little, they think we deserve more than everybody else. America's had a good stretch, and it's a good system. Um, when I see Trump supporters, and I'm sure, let me tell you another thing. The three people I love most in this world are Trump supporters. My girlfriend, my sister, and my mother are Trump supporters. So obviously, I can't hate Trump supporters. I say I do sometimes. I'm very frustrated. Um, because what I see is a lot of times, and I don't want to I don't want to make the mistake of lumping all people together, like what I'm talking about, or prejudice, or judging people without even meeting them. But I tend to see in Trump's rhetoric, us first, when it's really more about just people. I know it sounds altruistic and, like a pretty storybook and everything, but it's about happiness. And like said, like a Trump supporter yesterday sent me a note, and sometimes things affect me. And he told me about a person that talks about the law, Neville Goddard, the law of attraction. And it interests me. And it interests me how a Trump supporter believes in the law of attraction, because that's basically, if you put out good, you get good back to you. And I don't see a lot of that in Trump supporters. I see them more as grouping themselves in small groups of people, like us white people, us Americans, and then down to my family, my close group of people. And it's like a war to get above everybody else, to our rights, our money, my income, what's fair, what I deserve, this piece of the pie for me. And I just think, and then remember this, I am not saying my view's better by any means. What I'm saying is, I know it brings me peace of mind. I know the only thing that brings me not anger, but frustration, is seeing other people living like this and treating each other badly. Okay, a lot of Trump supporters, and I'll bring flat earthers into this too. A lot of you guys are Christians. And when I got into recovery, there was a Bible next to my bed, and I started reading it a lot. And I loved the parables. I loved Jesus' parables. I kept going through that Bible. I had never really read the Bible before. I was raised Christian, but I never read the Bible. And I loved those parables. And there was the one about the farmer that went out to hire a worker in the morning, or workers for his farm or whatever. And he paid him $1. And then he realized he needed more workers. And later at noon, he brought in more workers. He paid them $1. Then there was 1 hour left in the workday. And he went out and got a few more workers and paid them $1. Now, the workers that had been there all day were like, well, this isn't fair. You're paying me $1 for working all day, and you're paying him $1 for working an hour. And Jesus is like, no, no, no. He's like, look, am I keeping my deal with you? You agreed to work for $1, and I'm paying you $1. Don't concern yourself with other people. That just leads to unhappiness. It does. This is one thing I found in the last 13 years. And I could honestly say, this is one of the biggest joys of my life. I'm happy. I am. I'm truly happy. I am by no means wealthy. If anything, I'm poor, financially. I wouldn't say poor, but I'm happy. I'm just happy to be here. And I think a lot of that comes too with how close I came to death through my whole life. And the realization that we're only here for a very short time, and a lot of things just don't matter. That extra $100 in your paycheck, it's just, what's it going to bring you? And I thought of this, and I didn't work it out in my mind, but okay, say you believe that somebody took $100 from you unfairly, and they needed it, but you believe they took it from you unfairly. Say they're an immigrant. Say they just say they just snuck into this country, and they got $100 of your money, family, kids, little babies, and they took your $100. All right. Now you'd want it back. You'd do anything to get it back. But what if by just the fate of the universe, you died tonight, tomorrow morning? What good is that $100 going to do you? It's not going to do you any good whatsoever. What's that $100 going to do in a dead person's pocket? And that's my point. We could all go at any time. Some people need things more than other people. That family, it could change, that $100 could change everything for them. You could leave this earth having helped a whole other family, maybe live a whole better life. If you just willingly gave that $100 to those people, and they remembered that, and they gave those $100 to more people once they got wealthy, you could change a whole freaking country. You see what I'm saying? What good is $100? You could be dead tomorrow, and what good is that extra $100 in a dead man's pocket? Like I said, I just came up with that one this morning. I know money's important, and I know everybody deserves the same rights. But my point here, and I'm never saying that I'm right or I'm smarter or I'm better or anything like that. I'm just saying what brings me happiness, what has bring me contentment, what has brought me peace in the last 13 years. And it's not comparing myself. To me that just brings frustration. Why are there people that I saw a lady that just became a millionaire on YouTube because she makes videos of her eating, and people love it in China or Japan or one of those countries that they love watching it. And there's actually a name for it. And you could think, how unfair this woman has no skills. I work so hard, and look at that. She's got $1 million. How life isn't fair. No, it's not. But there's a reason to all this. There's a reason we don't know. There's a reason my father died. There's a reason I had a hard life. There's a reason I went to drugs. It made me where I am today. It made me happy. I suffered a lot, but I'm happy today. Sometimes suffering and loss brings you happiness. Sometimes maybe you should just go along with it. And the universe and God know better what's good, what you really need. Instead of fighting it and saying, look, I need more. I want more rights. I want more money. I want another extra $5 in my paycheck. Instead of giving it to Social Security and those lazy old people, those damn immigrants. What's that $5 going to do anyway? Is it going to bring you happiness? I doubt it. It is what it is. And life, the universe, God brings you what you got coming. You really, and what it thinks you need to get to your future. you know, and you could scream all day that it's not fair, and you know, you're banging your head against the wall, I think. So I hope I made some sense this morning. I was fighting to get this out, and it was all in my head, and it's all just flowing out now, and I hope it's making sense to you guys. And like I say, I make these videos, and I just tell you what works for me. There's a lot of people out there. I see a lot of these guys on YouTube, these motivational people say, this is what you got to do. This is, you know, and I just don't operate that way. I'll tell you I will tell you the honest truth of what worked for me and what didn't work for me. And I can tell you, I am truly, truly happy today. And I don't mean just today, I mean every day. It's probably from coming so close to death, you know, and just looking around. Even a tree, anything, man, you ain't gonna see that forever. Enjoy it, you know, enjoy what's around you, enjoy everything. Because, you know, it's pretty soon, there's gonna come a day when there will be no tomorrow. It's gonna be your last day. It's gonna happen to all of us. And $5, $100 ain't gonna make a whole lot of difference on that day. So I hope I made some sense this morning. If not, you probably turned me off a while ago. So, all right, you guys have a good Tuesday. Be good to each other.